you. Uh, Today we discuss about the different methods that are used for the project evaluation. Previously we discussed methods for that project evaluation by using annual worth, present worth, or future worth, and these methods are used for the project evaluation. At the end of this evaluation, we can conclude that whether this project is economical or not economical. When we say that this project is economical or not economical, that generally we are compare with the MARR value. MARR value. So we are comparing this project when we say that this project is economical. So maybe in present worth method, annual worth method, future worth method, or internal rate of return method, or external rate of return method, we compare that interest rate. Whatever we obtain, that we compare with the MARR value. So minimum attractive rate of return value, we compare this interest rate, and then we can say that these are the economical or not economical. So in the IRR method, we compare this with the particular MARR value. That interest rate we compare with that particular MARR value. Similarly, in ARR also, we compare that particular interest rate that obtained from that ARR method with this MARR value, and if it is greater one, then we can say that it is a desirable or not desirable. So in these both cases we compare this with a MARR value. So when we say that this what we discuss now here in detail regarding this MARR value. Now if you look at this particular graph, this graph is a, on the x-axis there is a amount, on y-axis there is a annual rate, or interest rate, which are considered annually, Now in this case, suppose that company's annual turnover is a $2 million. Annual turnover is a $2 million. So for that amount, if suppose that company borrowing this fund from a bank, and he borrowing that fund from bank, then at that time, for up to the $2 million, that company will, the bank give that particular amount at some interest rate 10%. But as soon as if company borrow amount which is a larger than its annual turnover, for expansion of their projects, and in that case, that bank provide this particular loan or amount to that particular company with a higher interest rate, because that risk is involved, because that company's annual turnover is suppose $2 million. So up to this $2 million, bank know about that this company having annual turnover is a $2 million of dollar every year. So up to this $2 million, company can give money with a lower interest rate, because he know that company have annual turnover $2 million. But as soon as company demand for a larger amount of money, suppose $4 million or $6 million, in that case, previous turnover of that company is a $2 million, but now they want money as a 4 million or 6 million from bank. In that case, In that case, bank provides this money, but at the same time, he increased that interest rate. So as that money increases beyond its particular annual turnover, beyond this particular annual turnover, in that case, that particular bank increase that particular interest rate, and this increase in interest rate is due to the risk involved to get back that particular amount, from that particular company. That's why this rate of interest will be increased. So this curve is up to the $2 million is a flat one, and above this $2 million, this curve is increasing. In exponential manner. So due to the risk presented to provide that particular money, that's why this particular increase in the annual rate we will observe. Now if you look at this,
what my company is capable of, and they look at my history, give them a better return. Project B, whatever it is.
to this graph. We move further and we come to this graph. Now up to the $2 million of dollar company have annual turnover. Up to $2 million that company have annual turnover. Now up to the 2 million of that particular cash, 2 million of particular cash, that bank provide this money with a 10%. As soon as this 2 million will increases, that rate will be increases. Now if you look at this A project, B project, C project, D project, E, F, G project, in that particular projects, this particular investment, if you look at the particular investment in A project, this particular investment is a less than $1 million, and it get a amount at a 35%, at a 35% of interest rate. For project B, it invest at least nearly approximately $1.5 million, and it get a amount from that B project at a 30% interest rate. They get return at the amount of 30% of interest rate. So similarly, C project, D project, E project, F project, and G project, in this project they get return at a different interest rate. Company get return at different interest rate, 26, 30, 23, 19, 16, 14, like that. And with this particular investment in this particular project A, B, C, D, E, F. So this investment is also different one, and company will decide which project he will take, that company will take, so that it get a highest return, from that particular project, and he give money back to the bank, back to bank, and provide this money as a to fulfill that installment of that particular loan at different interest rate. Now these particular cases, in this particular cases, A project investment is low, interest rate, that rate of return that we obtain for that particular company is a larger one, but that profit is as this amount invested is a very low, that profit is low. If you look at the C project, that investment is a larger one, in the rate of return at which that company get back this particular amount is 26%. 26%. So in that case also, this is also economical project. This is also economical project because that investment is a larger one. Rate of interest that will get that company back this particular amount is also larger one. But at the same time, this amount is larger one, and this interest rate compared to the other projects A and B are lower one. So company decide. Which project that company should be taken. Which project that company should be taken, so that he will get return in their whatever that company invested in that project, that will be get return, that money get return by to that company at a interest rate. So that company decide which project that company should taken, which company that project should taken, either a low investment projects or higher investment project. That company will decide, and according to this, that company will decide which project that company will take, and give money back to the bank as a installment of that particular loan, So in the different projects, suppose that company get back this money at some interest rate I, so that he will give money to the bank as a installment of that particular loan. That particular interest rate is nothing but a MRR value. So this interest rate I, at which this give that rate of return is nothing but a MRR value. So there is a minimum interest rate at which company should work, so that he will pay, or that company will pay that installment of that particular loan. So when interest rate I is equal to that particular rate of return of or we can say that that minimum interest rate I, at which that company will return that particular installment of their loan to the bank, that particular interest rate I is nothing but a minimum attractive rate of return, and that depend on the company's policy. So company will decide which project he should consider, so that he will return that particular amount that will be taken from the bank, and that particular interest rate I is nothing but a minimum attractive rate of return. So this is nothing but a MRR value. So in this case, company now consider this project. Such that, so at the 16%, in this case 16% per year, if your company earn money at a 16% of interest, then whatever that loan considered or whatever taken from that bank, that company will be paid. Now if that company earn money below the 16%, in that case company cannot be pay that installment of loan that are taken from the bank, So it is not desirable. So this is the minimum attractive rate of return. So at this particular interest rate of minimum attractive rate of return, company will able to pay that loan installment that are taken from the bank, or it get back that particular return, at that particular interest rate I. So this is nothing but a MARR value. So we can consider this particular interest rate I. This is nothing but MARR value. So this MARR value is depend on the company's decision. So this MRR is depend on the company's decision, how that company will expand, of their particular work, how that money borrow from that particular bank, at what interest rate, how that company will get that interest rate from their particular projects, and he will pay that particular loan installment of that particular bank. So when that amount I, which is just equal to the rate of return, of that particular bank, this is nothing but a MARR value. So this MARR value we consider. In our example. Below this MRR value, that company cannot get money, or company having loss. So this MRR we consider for comparison in this internal rate of return method, external rate of return method, or in different methods for comparison of this with this MRR value. So below this MRR value, company cannot get money, so that he will pay that particular bank loan. So there is always desirable that whatever that interest rate we obtain from that internal rate of return method, external rate of return method, that are larger than this MRR consideration, from this MRR interest rate. That's why we consider this MRR value. For the comparison, and that will base on the company's decision, how that company expand his projects, expand his work or expand his project, how that company take that money from market through his project, and pay that particular loan, that are taken from the bank. So this is nothing but a MRR value that we consider for the comparison. In different methods of our project evaluation. So we discussed different methods. Present work, future work, annual work, internal rate of return method, external rate of return method, payback period method. Now we can discuss this cost benefit analysis. In this cost benefit analysis, we compare the different projects on the basis of the benefit to cost ratio. So we discuss this in the this benefit to cost ratio. These are used for the comparison of the projects. So as per name suggests, benefit to cost ratio. This benefit to cost ratio, benefits divided by cost, benefit divided by total cost. So benefit, how you consider that? Again, that benefit we can calculate it on basis of present worth method, on future worth method, or annual worth method. And in many time this present worth these benefits are considered with consideration, or by removing this particular value with this operating and maintenance cost. So we can modify this benefit to cost ratio as a benefit minus this expenses, benefit minus this operating and maintenance expenses in the numerator, and the denominator only involve this investment. Denominator only involve this investment as a cost, and this cost, operating maintenance cost, they put on the numerator as a benefit minus this operating and maintenance cost, and in total cost, they put this investment in the denominator.